Till now, we have discussed about the ecosystem aspects, your purpose, your why you are starting the business. Then we have discussed about the minimum viable product approach of identifying or validation of your idea. And then we have discussed about the business model, that how you have to create a business model of your particular product or offering. Now comes the business plan. So if I tell you, see, business plan is something that 90% of people don't even like jot down that what they are going to do. So this is one of the prominent reason of business failure, because people don't have a plan, a written plan. So what happens is that once you start thinking about your offering, okay, there is no specific sequence of doing the things. Okay, you can immediately create your business plan also. Okay, it doesn't mean that you have to follow the same pattern that I have told you, but business plan, whether at this particular stage, means after creating the MVP and creating the business model, if you are creating at this stage, or even if before starting anything, you can create a business plan. Okay, it has nothing to do with the previous sections that we have discussed, but it is must to have a business plan. So what is business plan? It basically is a structured plan where you are going to write down that what exactly you are going to do, how much revenue it is going to generate. So from investor point of view, you can term a business plan as a pitch deck also. Okay, generally these two are separate documents, but the business plan we are going to discuss here is most like a initial document that you take to your family, friends, and you take some initial funding from them. So for that purpose, this business plan will also be really useful. As far as investor pitch deck or the detailed financial projections etc are concerned, that also we have already created, and we may be discussing that also with you. But right now the agenda is to keep it simple and don't get into the complexities of how projections are made, this that, because already we have a course, a separate course for this. Okay, though we will try to embed some relevant part of that into this particular course also, but for you have to focus on simply creation of the business plan. Now for creating it, what all things you have to do, we will be going to discuss that. Okay, so now the first thing is, while drafting a business plan, you need to make sure that you have a clear focused direction about your company. Okay, and that clear focused direction will definitely be there if you have already understood that how ecosystem works, what is your purpose, what product or service you are going to give, and how it is perceived by the customer. Okay, you have done all these exercise till now. And if you have created a business model like a B2C or D2C or B2C, whatever it is, so based on that you have a clarity here, right? This is the way I'm going to sell my offering. And suppose now, even if you have say 10 12 customers, doesn't matter. Even if you have a one customer, doesn't matter. Even if you have a zero customer, still I will say still you can create a business plan even if you have a zero customer. In this, you need to have clarity on these things, that whatever service or product you are going to offer, to which market you are going to offer, how it is getting like giving the value add to that particular customer. And considering all these things only, the investor will provide you the fund. And that investor can be initial family friend, it can be an angel investor. Okay, this is how it will work. And even if you are a bootstrap startup, I believe in bootstrapping. I don't believe that in initial phase only you go for funding and run after the money. No, I am a person who believes that you create your MVP, you launch your MVP, validate your idea, get initial customers. Once you see yes there is a market and product is going to be profitable, then you may go for funding to scale it. But till then, don't go for funding. Okay, that's why I've kept the sequence in this way. Okay, so business plan, again I'm clarifying this, whether you are a bootstrap startup. Bootstrap means that you are doing this startup with your own money, you are not taking money from any third person. You should have a business plan in that case also. If you don't have it, you will not be setting up your things in a right way. Why? Because it gives you clarity, it helps you in proper goal setting, it helps you to come up with a documentation of whatever you have thought till now. Okay, and whatever customer acquisition you are going to do, so that entire thing you are documented. Okay, once you are documenting it in a proper structure, I think it will be a better thing for you. So 95% people don't do it. Okay, so this is one of the major reasons of people not scaling the business or getting failed into their startup. Okay, that's why it is more important for you. Okay, so you get a clarity. Okay, if you go for fundraising, it is required definitely, as I mentioned, the pitch deck part. If you do goal setting for your business, it is required. And you have need to have a well crafted plan. Okay, because if your business evolves, you can definitely modify the existing basic plan that you've created, else you will get confused because you have not written anything why you have started this. If it is written already, it will be good for you to adapt the changes and modify your plan. Okay. And fundraising mein, I'll again repeat, fundraising with a business plan becomes easier because you have a base. While creating your pitch deck, while creating your projections, you have already created a business plan. This is the basis of creating your pitch deck and projections and your fund utilization plan. Basically, business plan gives you a direction and pitch deck helps you in setting up a context for getting the funding. But without business plan, pitch deck creation also becomes a bit difficult. I'm telling you from my experience because we have created thousands of pitch decks in last 4 or 5 years. Of many founders, I have seen that they don't have clarity about anything. And when we ask for a business plan, no one has it. Only 2-3% people have the business plan. Okay. So, what are the key sections of the business plan? Again, the key sections, it will be a repeatable stuff only that we have already discussed. But here we are discussing from jotting down perspective. Like here we are discussing whatever we are discussing, that you have to jot down this. What you have to jot down? You have to jot down the executive summary of the outlines of your business goals and the competitive advantages that you are going to provide, how your business is unique, which problem you are solving. All these things will be part of your executive summary. Okay. Now after this, you have to do that market analysis has to be done. Again, this market analysis you have already done at the time of the MVP. You have to just jot it down here that you have evaluated your industry, these are your target customers, and this is the competition landscape of this particular product or service. Okay, so this is what you have to jot down in the market analysis section. Then comes the financial projections. Here you will provide the detailed financial forecast including the revenue, expenses and the cash flows. But you will not be able to do this if you have not finalized your business model and you have not finalized your minimum viable product. So that has to be finalized. That has to be, if you have tested, it is good. Not tested, recommended. But nothing as such कि मैंने आपको पहले बोला है ना, even if you have a zero customer, you have not yet tested your idea, still it is better to jot down. Theoretically you note it down, then you can evolve and you can change this business plan as you validate your idea or as you create your business model. Okay, you can definitely change it. And so you need to keep a very flexible approach, that whatever you jot down, whatever you write down, okay, things are not freezed. It's not a board exam paper. Okay, this is business and business evolves and you have to adapt the changes. So whatever you are doing in the initial phase, you need to be very practical and flexible. Then only you can evolve as a founder. Okay, so you need to make sure that your executive summary includes these four things. What is that? First one is the business overview that describes your company, the mission your company has, and the unique value proposition you have. Okay, how you are unique than your competition. Okay, then comes the key highlights. You have to summarize your product or services. You have to mention about the target market, how much big is this market, and you have to mention the competitive advantage that you have against your competitors. And then you also will need to mention the financial summary, including the projections, that how much revenue you are going to make. Okay, and if suppose you have a funding requirement, you can mention that as well, that this much fund is required. Suppose 10 lakh is required and you have only 5 lakh with you, then this 5 lakh you can take from your friend, family, or from angel investors. Okay, suppose you need only 2 lakh to start and you have that 2 lakh with you only, no need to have that money from anyone. Okay, note it down that this is the fund that you need. Whether you are putting from your own pocket, means a bootstrapping, or whether you are taking from third person, that is a separate thing. And expected return on investment, which is a must, because if you are putting your efforts, you are putting money in the business, you are taking money and putting in the business, you have to definitely write down that what is the return on investment for yourself also, because business and you both are the separate entities from the perspective of law also, from the accounting perspective also. Okay, from every perspective, you and your business are two separate persons. Okay, this thing, keep this in your mind. Okay, don't attach yourself with the business is a separate thing because you are forming a company or LLP. That has nothing to do with you as an individual. We are going to discuss this in details in the compliance registration module also. Okay, so now comes the team. So you have to introduce the key personals and their relevant expertise. So this is definitely relevant for you as well as for the investor. So if you're not taking money from anyone, still you have to jot down that these will be the key people who will be helping me in managing my operations. So say some person is a COO, this will be the person who will be doing the marketing, so he will be the CMO, this will be the person, say HR function. So accordingly you have to jot down the key team members depending on the profiles they have. Okay, then comes the market analysis. You have to see, you have to provide a detailed analysis of your industry size, the growth, the key trends that are going in the market. Then you have to target your customers. Okay, like I have already discussed all these things in the previous video, but still I am just repeating. So India 1, India 2, India 3 example, hope you remember that. So in that we have discussed about the ideal customer profile, including the demography and the behavior. Okay, like if you remember, the point was that India 1, 2, 3 based on their income levels, gender, age. So you have to identify that your product fits into which market. Accordingly you have to identify and finalize your target audience. Okay, so target market is nothing but it is based on the marketing analysis that you have done. Okay, so this is just corroborating, or this is just confirming that whatever target market you have identified, it is correct. Okay, then competitive landscape, you have to mention that who are the top competitors in which all things you are strong, in which all things you are weak in comparison to your customers. So this kind of a SWOT analysis you have to do. Okay, then comes the financial projection part. So the revenue forecast for 3 to 5 years has to be done. Now here you have to, again you have to map this revenue forecast as per the projections that you have, as per the business model that you have defined, as per the product units that you are going to sell. You have to come up with the revenue that you are going to generate, and in order to generate that much revenue, how much expenses you have to do on your operations, your marketing, your sales. Okay, so all these things you have to create as a revenue forecast. Cost structure, I have just mentioned about the marketing, sales, other stuff. And cash flow projections is nothing but the actual cash you are receiving as a business. So the difference between profit and cash is, profit is accounting profit that you are getting from the business, but cash flow is the real cash that you are generating out of your business. So as a founder, you should make sure that you should not only have a bookish profit but actual cash flow that are flowing to you as a business. Okay, so that cash inflow outflow measurement should be done. Okay, to ensure your financial viability of your business. Then comes the tailoring of your business plan. So you have to mention that who are the key partners for, maybe for operation. Okay, and what is the growth potential of the partners that you're going to associate with. Then comes the investors. Okay, you have to highlight the financial projections and ROI for the investors, and you have to focus on the company's vision, mission, and culture. Okay, so you have to do what? You have to tailor, you have to change your, are tying up with say some customer. So for them it will become a business profile. Okay, so business plan again is a base document which you can tailor as a business profile for customer, or as a pitch deck for your, maybe for a investor. Okay, so this is how it works. And for employees, how it is relevant? Employees should know about the vision, mission, and the culture of the organization. For them, you can use this business plan as a base document. Okay, so that's why I was saying that it is really important to have this documented. Okay, now you have to present this business plan to any of the stakeholders. Okay, you have to present it to a vendor, to a customer, to an employee, to an investor, as per the stakeholder. Accordingly, the tailored business plan will be showcased to them and should be supported with the data, some visual statistics, and some projections which will basically back your claims that what you are claiming is making some sense. As I've given you earlier an example of the CAGR growth of real estate. So see, when we are doing something at a very initial stage, we can only take basis of some research reports. Okay, always take a base of some authentic portal wherever the research reports are there, which gives you some estimation about the target segments, the growth, year on year projected growth of that industry, or CAGR of that particular industry. Use that as a basis and give that source link or reference link in your document, whether a business plan or a pitch deck or a profile, whatever you are sharing with. So it makes your document more authentic, that whatever you are saying, it has some base also. Don't throw things in the air. Okay, so that is highly recommended. Okay, now comes the question part. So you have to address the question. So while presenting a business plan to the audience, they will definitely have some queries. So you have to patiently listen to them and address their question. If you know it, good. If you don't know it, you can tell them that you'll get back to this. There is no harm on that. Okay, now comes the finalizing and updating your business plan part. So you have to regularly review, revisit, and update your plan periodically, because a company or a startup evolves over the period. I have been discussing this point of late. Okay, incorporate feedback. You have to incorporate the feedbacks from the mentors, advisors, and the industry experts to improve your plan. Okay, this again we have discussed, and I don't think okay, flexibility. Okay, fine. I don't think this is much theoretical only. We can leave it also. You know. So hope you have some understanding about the business plan through this video. Till now, I have given you some understanding about how ecosystem works. I've given you the understanding of how you have to identify your ikigai. I hope you remember that you have to see that what you are good at, okay, and whether market needs it, whether they are going to pay for it, okay, and whether you enjoy doing it, okay, because if you are skillful in something but you don't enjoy doing it, there is no purpose of doing it. So if you are skillful, you enjoy doing that particular thing, market is there for that, market is ready to pay for that, then it's your ikigai, go for that. Once you have chosen your why, after that you validate your idea through MVP. After that you create a model around it, and then you jot down all these things in a business plan. So this is what we have discussed till now. For any queries or anything, you can get back to me, okay, and we will have a continuous discussion about this in our upcoming sessions also. Thank you so much. We will discuss this in our live sessions as well. All your queries will be addressed.